What did it kind of feel like at the end there? Confetti coming down, and
There was confetti coming down?
it was like the
Who did the confetti?
the streamers or whatever it is, paper something. But just what did that moment feel like clinching?
I don't know. I'm bittersweet in terms of, we're supposed to do this. That's my mental. That's my mental. That's me kind of saying must win. Like, and I told the girls, like, we intentionally picked you guys for this reason. To do things that, for the first, that was what Tip Hayes said when we celebrated in the locker room. She goes, you know, we're the first. And I said, well, I intentionally all chose you guys as well to do first things. And so, again, I credit to Ohema, obviously Joe too as well, Jess, the leadership. It starts there, and it's the support, it's the motivation. Like, Joe pushes me. You know, he really does push me to not just settle and not just be mediocre. So I credit that. And then the players were intentionally chosen to do a lot of the first. Yep.
It looked like Dallas was starting to pull away early in that third, but you guys make a comeback, crawl all the way back. What just kind of worked in that second half for you guys to make that comeback?
Yeah, Carla. Carla came alive. It was just hard, you know. I know we're a well-conditioned team. I think they take pride in it. And so I think it was great that our bench just really kind of came to life. I was sitting there trying to find a rotation that I liked, and LA came in, brought great energy in terms of rebounding, defense. Carla kind of just navigated herself in the pick and rolls. She made the calls. Kate obviously came in with a ton of energy from the jump, and then Ja finished the game really well, making clutch threes, and then V shooting free throws. So I went past your question, but yeah, I think everyone just stepped up tonight, which is really nice. Yeah.
Natalie, when you think back to when you got hired and then the expansion draft in December and all the things that have led up to this moment, and you sort of reflect on it, do you start now to have that moment of, this has happened, and you talk about being the first, but that it's actually happened and it feels real, and all these things that have occurred are finally now culminated into this moment?
No, not really. As much as that sounded like a great question, no. You know, because we're not done yet. So maybe after season, you know, after this all done, I'll reflect. But right now, I'm already thinking about Minnesota. You know, I'm already thinking about the next step and how I'm going to make sure that they all recover tomorrow, what the plan is tomorrow with Kitley, because, you know, she didn't play. So I'm thinking about that stuff, to be honest. I think my opinion is, I think when you lose focus and you start to think about other things other than the present and where your feet are and what I need to make sure, you know, Kitley is ready to go. Even, you know, Caitlin didn't play a lot, so I got to make sure she's prepared. I got to stay present. I got to stay where my feet are. And again, Minnesota is up next. And I think that's why I think we've been able to do what we do, because we stay present. I really don't allow them to celebrate. They can, obviously. They can enjoy this. But I also keep them humble. Like, hey, y'all want to keep going? Y'all want to keep making great strides? Then let's stay focused. You know, I'm a party pooper. Yes, I am. I know. I'll try to be better.
Just following up on Veronica's game, like, she didn't have maybe the best first three quarters, but she was able to finish strong. What does that, you know, say about, like, her growth this season and, like, just being able to finish these games for you guys?
Yeah, I would say if earlier in the season she probably would have, you know, tilted her head and rolled her eyes, and she's not doing that anymore. You know, and she told me, she's just like, hey, anytime you see me slipping like that, she's like, just stay on me, Nat. And yeah, that's what we do. Our whole staff does. And we do that because we know she can do more and she can push, and we need her as a leader. And so I call her now Unfazed. Her name is V Unfazed. Burton, that's her name. And then obviously she knows exactly what we need to run towards the end and who to attack. And so, yeah, just having her out there and closing the games and those free throws. I mean, someone said it didn't even hit the rim. So that's how, you know, clutch she is, and she likes big moments. The same thing with Carla. Like, we got a lot of players that like big moments, and so that's really good, you know, going into playoffs.
Were you hyped when she hit that and one, or like the rest of the arena and the players?
Yeah, because I didn't know what we're running. I was confused what was going on. But they said, hey, we know what we're doing, Coach. They said, we know what we're doing. I was like, all right, because I was confused. But, yeah, I mean, we know V can make big plays like that. So, yeah, just, again, proud within the moment. I did my little, you know, I swear to God, you guys, I'm happy. But, yeah, just, again, proud of her. She deserves it. The crowd was unbelievable tonight. I mean, I couldn't hear anything. So it was great to have that support. Yeah.
Natalie, I was going to ask you if you were going to let your players celebrate, but you already called yourself a party pooper, so
did.
I'll let that one. So I mean, but you do have a point. I mean, with a couple games left in the season and seeding is still very much up in the air. How do you have to tell your players that of like, hey guys, the playoffs haven't started yet, and actually these 3 games are incredibly important to your playoff journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's a learning tool right now because, again, we accomplished something that we set out to do, right? We set out that we want to make the playoffs. Boom. Now I have the X. It's a combination now of being healthy and preparing our rhythm going into playoffs. So I have to figure out a healthy balance of what I'm going to do. This is my first. So probably going to lean on my mentors and give them a call and see how I'm going to balance out the next couple games. But as of now, I mean, we want to beat Minnesota, you know? I mean, we really do. We haven't beat them yet this season. They are loaded. They're talented. Their whole team is incredible, well coached, discipline on defense, and so we got a lot of things to prepare for. Yeah.
Natalie, Veronica said that one of the things she was proud of is just how the team has navigated these 4 games in 6 days, and you know, one of them being a back-to-back, and that fatigue is always an issue. But how do you feel about just the way they've kind of, you know, in this home stretch, every game a must-win game, as you've said, just the way they've responded to that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I think they like challenges. I think, in all honesty, if you interview every single player on our team, they love challenges. They love to be pushed. They're not afraid of it. And I think that's what's kind of cool is, like, we like to be uncomfortable. And not a lot of people like to be uncomfortable. They don't like to be pushed. They kind of sometimes like to be stagnant. But I don't have that. I have 13 players that love to be pushed, be uncomfortable. And at the same time, when someone's uncomfortable, they're also supportive. Like, I can hear in our timeouts, the people who were not in, they were encouraging. Come on, guys, keep fighting. I know we're a little exhausted, but keep fighting. Keep pushing. And that's what I was hearing, and that's great. That's when I think what V was saying is, like, we're continuing to push each other, have each other's back at all times. And then, yeah, if, like, our bench needed to come and play, I mean, our bench stepped up tonight. So that was really key is, again, anyone, anytime can step up and be ready. I think that's what's kind of neat of the layer that we could go into the playoffs knowing anybody can play.
You've talked a lot about just like staying present. I'm wondering, like, where did you learn to do that? Because I imagine that can be a little hard to do. Like, it can be easy to look ahead. It says playoffs clinched up on the scoreboard and everything. Like, where did you get the ability to kind of be grounded like that? Mentors.
Mentors told me. Joe told me, Missoula. You know, I think it keeps things very clear. It keeps things very, and that's part of it too, is like what I talk about is block out the noise. And unfortunately, sometimes you guys are the noise because it's a distraction. And so, like tonight, I said, this is going to be our hardest game of the season. It is. It's going to be the hardest because you're hearing outside noise. Well, if we win, we're in. And I was like, well, it sounds so simple, but it's not. You have, like I said, I told you guys, this was a team that had nothing to lose, but they're a better team than they were last week. They're faster, they're stronger, they're fighting for spots in the future. They're literally trying out. Like, you don't waste minutes. Like, anyone who has an opportunity to play and they're fresh, you know, that's a dangerous team. And they're young too. And so anytime they have young players, and Chris did a great job. He did an amazing job to keep their energy in. They could have quit a long time ago. So just credit to Dallas coaching staff and the players. You know, obviously Paige is just an unbelievable player. Now I'm just losing my train of thought because I'm talking so much. But no, just the fact that we could, you know, lock in and finish this. What was the question, Marissa? Oh, okay. But yeah, from my mentors, and not to get too distracted how my mind just went. But yeah, exactly. I get distracted all the time. So it's helpful for me to stay present, stay focused. You don't want too many outside noises to get into their head. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Natalie, in that second half, it seemed like Carla Late was always making the right decisions. She went too fast, went too slow.
Yeah.
What kind of growth have you seen from her, especially in this last quarter of the season or whatever, when it comes to just her decision making and her ability to make those plays in key situations like that?
Yeah, just tough decision making for her today too. And she was, if you could see her, she was telling everyone where to go. That's the growth where I've seen Carla go from, like, not really saying a lot, you know, to now, like I said, she's taking English lessons, so she's feeling very comfortable calling out her teammates. She's confident. She's making the calls. She's making tough shots. And she was getting those offensive rebounds. So Carla, with her aggressiveness, she was making momentum plays. And she was basically like, give me the effing ball, like I got this. And so I have a luxury. I can go with Carla, I can go with V. I thought Caitlin Chen had great energy. Like I have a lot of really talented point guards that I can go to, which is really nice.
And were you telling Carla anything in particular during that stretch, or were you just kind of just letting her go out and do her thing?
We talked about 2 plays, and I said you could choose whatever you want. So she was the one making the calls. It's just whatever the defense, showed. She understands like the different kind of defenses that shows, and then she just reads it, and she was just picking it apart. Yeah.
Coach, the girls talked about a little fiery conversation that you guys had with them when you guys were down double digits. Just curious if you can give us a little insight on what that sounded like. They said it really like pushed them when you guys were down by double digits, that you guys kind of went off on them.
Yeah. Because they weren't doing anything. So I can't, I don't want to say what I said. It's cuss words, and Morgan's trying to keep me away from the cuss words. Huh? Yeah, I use my, but there's a lot of cussing, and, but I basically say this is a choice. You guys want to effing, make the playoffs, or this is all a choice. And it's also a choice whether you guys pick each other up, And I know we've been preparing for these moments, these tough moments when you're fatigued, but guess what? You guys are the best in shape. I can go out there and finish this if this is what you guys want to do. And I walked away, and boom, right away they're on top of it. They're calling each other out. They're holding each other accountable. Yeah. Sorry, I can't leak those ones. Those ones are. Yeah. You guys should just stand behind the bench and hear me. Yeah.
Natalie,
Yeah.
do you remember that interview with Joe as well as he does? I mean, he remembers every detail of
Joe Lakeup?
When he decided to hire you on the spot, he said. And do you remember kind of winning that interview or how that went, and just hitting it off with him in a way that you thought, okay, this is really going to work?
Well, at first I was very obviously nervous. I mean, Joe Lakeup, the winning culture. Obviously I did my research. I studied him and why he's so great. And I think what I read was like everything he does in terms of sets a goal for himself, he accomplishes it. And so that's kind of what I picked his brain about. Like I tried to ask him more questions than he asked me because I was so inspired by just having an interview with him. So that was the first thing. And then within like 10 minutes, he was just like, okay. Like he kind of was like, we're done with you asking questions. And he was like, whoever gets this job, you got to win in 5 years. That's the requirement. And then that's when I said, hey, sign me up. Like that's all. That's the type of personality that I am, is when you doubt me or if you put a good challenge in front of me, I'm going to go after it 100%. And so as we got to talking too, because that was obviously, exciting for me to hear. Like that's the type of pressure I'm going to have. Great. But he reminded me of my dad, of it just in terms of, okay, I got this goal, I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to accomplish it. And then the second thing, then he's, because he was an owner in Boston, right, prior to this. Isn't that correct? He was an owner, but did you guys know that? But, yeah. And so he's been, wanting this and planning this to win championships here in the Bay. And so, again, and prior to that, he was working, I think, for... correct me if I'm wrong, Invisalign? Yes. Yeah. So, again, I'm going off topic again. But anytime he puts a goal to himself, and it's a high goal, he accomplishes it. And that kind of reminds me of my dad. And so that's why I was like, I told him that. I go, you remind me of my dad. I know he's kind of smiled or whatever, but like, that's when I knew. I was like, God, I really want to work for this guy, just because he has high standards, high expectations, and I love that. So, yeah, I was really like, I hope I get this job. I didn't know he thought I was good for it on the spot. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's nice to hear. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.